It's time for Dino's Real Deal.
Yeah, very own Dean Saunders is going to run through some of the players he thinks will be on the move in January with the window opening in just 5 days. 5 days? It's not 5 days, 3 days' time, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the 1st of January, you know.
1st
of January.
Yeah. Well done.
Cheers.
Take it away, Dean. Come on.
Well, Calvin Phillips, for me, if he wants to progress his England career and his career in general, he's going to have to leave Man City. He's not getting a game. It's gone on long enough now. Is it 2 years? Yeah. Maybe. So he'd get in most teams in the top 6. So for me, for the sake of his career, he's got to move on. Whether Man City will let him go, I don't know. But for me, I think he should move clubs. Harry Maguire, number 2.
Maguire?
Harry Maguire. Do you know Harry Maguire knows the managers tried to sell him about 5 times?
Harry Maguire's not leaving, mate.
Well, Harry Maguire, the only reason Harry Maguire's not leaving is because he's on that much money. Nobody else can afford to pay him. He goes to West Ham. They can't afford to match his wages. So he asks for a compromise. Bear in mind, Man United were letting him go. And Harry went, I'm losing too much money. No, you're going to have to make it up. Both ends. So Man United, you're going to have to give me some to leave. And West Ham, you're going to have to give me a bit more. Otherwise, I'm losing money. So he stayed, but he played Luke Shaw instead of him, Martinez in front of him, Varane in front of him. I think Johnny Evans played in front of him. I think Phil Jones played in front of him as well. So he's trying to get rid of him. He needs to go where he's appreciated. He's a good lad. He's had a bad time. He's still getting support from Gareth Southgate. But for me, when the manager doesn't want, the manager doesn't want you, there's only one thing going to happen. You got to leave.
All right.
Number 3, Smith Rowe. Talked about him earlier. Was at one point, he was ahead of Saka in the pecking order. You thought, this lad's going to play for England. English boy coming through. Yeah. What a talent. He's now having his career held back. He's not playing enough football. For me, he's got to leave Arsenal. I know you need a squad, but if I was him, I'd think about getting in somebody's first team and then gradually, a bit like Conor Gallagher's done, gradually you end up going, to a big club again. Mm-hmm. He might have to go Palace or one of them and then force his way back. Number 4,
cool.
Aaron Ramsdale. I think he's had a tough deal.
I just don't think he's going to be allowed to leave, mate. I agree with you. He should leave, but I just don't think he will.
I think he's got to. Whether the club, if you want to keep a goalkeeper there who's got his face down to his boots every day, and I mean, it's hard not to when you think you're the best player. He was doubted when he was at Sheffield United. Everybody's gone, why have you signed him? I thought he had a good season. Admittedly, at the end of last season, right at the death, he gave a few goals away. Yeah. But I thought he had a brilliant season. He did. And I think he's too good to be sat on the bench.
He is.
Is that... Well,
one more?
No. Number 5. I mean, I just can't get my head around this. Jadon Sancho. Oh. I'll give you a quick tale about him. Jadon Sancho played for Dortmund. I watched him every week, ripping fullbacks to shreds, coming inside and bending balls in the stanchion, get on the end of crosses, playing through balls. He signs for Man United for 75 million, reportedly on 300 grand a week. He's played 80 odd games, something like that, scored about 7 or 8 goals, hardly any assists, not produced the goods. It's a mystery. He's just not he's nowhere near the England squad.
Has the fire in his belly gone out?
Well, say fire in his belly, I mean, Man United, it's got to be the worst deal in the history of football. You had his wages up. Right now, he's sat in the house playing on his PlayStation. He don't even want to apologise. And even if you don't mean it, get back out on the football pitch and start playing football. The team needs you. The club need you. Put your differences with Ten Hag behind you. And by the way, all he said is he's not training very well. Like, is he not allowed to say that? Manager of Man United. And you go on Twitter and actually slaughter the manager. Imagine Alex Ferguson. You'd never be seen ever again at the football club.
I think Ten Hag's done the same thing now. I think he's gone to see you later.
Well, this is what's going to happen now, by the look of it. So they've lost 75 million. They probably sell him for 30. So they've lost 45 million. His contract's up in 2007. So he's on probably 14 million quid a year. So you add that up. They're probably going to lose 75 million on that deal.
He needs to get out of there, that's for sure.
So he needs to leave.
Yeah, he does need to
leave.
And
get playing football again and get his reputation back intact.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.